Franklin County Board of County Commissioner 9 session. Commissioner Jones, would you lead us in the prayer and pledge, please, sir?
Yes, sir. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you today for this day you've given to each and every one of us. Father, we ask you to be with us today, help us to have positive outcomes to all our deliberations today, Father, on behalf of the people that reside and visit Franklin County. Thank you for the future you're giving us in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning.
Morning.
Next on the agenda will be approval of the minutes.
So moved.
Got a motion on the floor by
Second.
Commissioner Masters, second by Commissioner Jones. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That passed unanimous. Next on the agenda will be approval of the payments of the county bills.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Parrish, second by Commissioner Jones. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That passed unanimous. Ready for the public comment, Mike?
Yes, sir, I am. I think I have one caller for public comments. Let me open up the lines here.
Next on the agenda will be public comments.
Caller 653-5115. Do you have a comment for the board?
Good morning, gentlemen, commissioners.
State your name
Ted
for the,
Marsteller of Appalachian.
I'm sorry, sir. State your name for the record, and you have 3 minutes, sir.
Ted Marsteller of Apalachicola, Mission Base, Appalachia. This is in reference to Michael's report coming up, item number 7, concerning Dormitory B at the old Bay City work camp. As you may remember, in the aftermath of Hurricane Michael, with county authorization, the First United Methodist Church of Appalachia, of which I am a participant, established Mission Base Appalachia, a Hurricane Michael Disaster Recovery Center, a Bay City mission based at the church and at the old Bay City work camp. The main purpose of the mission is to host and train volunteer work crews from all over Florida and the Southeast and as far away as Texas, and to store and distribute disaster relief supplies, of which we did and are still doing at the church. We surveyed the entire work camp, cleaning several other buildings, including Dormitory A and the warehouse, also mowing and cleaning up of downed trees and debris. The entire work camp was sadly in deplorable condition. We repaired the old warehouse, the roof, and the plumbing, also hooking up temporary electrical, making it usable for the purpose. A goal of the mission, other than hosting and distribution, was to train the work crews by repairing the damaged buildings, including Dormitory B. At that time, the roof was definitely repairable. The dormitory buildings are fortresses. For whatever the reason, the county decided to take back over the work camp for county storage, etc. The point of my participation or appearing today is to respectfully appeal to you to consider using the $45,566 noted in Michael's report to repair instead of demolition, or at least to weather in Dormitory B and save the noted 9,600 square foot building for future use. Thank you for allowing me to speak today.
All right, sir. Thank you very much, Ted.
Any more public comment?
No, sir. As you can see, and as you guys see on the board, the ones coming down the list will let you know who's there. And basically, Ted is one to the bottom, 5115. Above is Ms. Busby. She's listening in today. And the others are all county connections. So
Okay.
no, there are no more comments for public. No one else for public comments, Commissioner.
No more public comment. Next on the agenda will be Department Director Report. The Superintendent of Public Works, Mr. Howard Neal.
Good morning, Commissioners. How y'all doing?
Good morning.
I've got nothing for the board this morning.
Okay. How you doing on your grass cutting? How,
We doing good. We're hanging in there. I mean, we behind, but, we're on St. George Island and moving into Carabel, so, then we're gonna move into Lanark and Alligator Point. It's growed up pretty bad too, so, we making it.
just do the best you can. You're gonna be behind because
Yes,
we're
sir.
getting a lot of rain.
We did get our temporaries back. I don't know for how long, but we got them back Monday, so we got 3 more workers, so.
Okay, that's good.
And I think one of them got their, his back too, so.
That'll help y'all out, so.
Yes, sir.
Good.
Okay,
No, that's good.
keep up the good work.
Yes,
I got
sir.
one quick question for you. Last week we discussed about leasing the lowboy, and you said you were gonna do some research.
We did, we got back up with Thorn, as of right now, all leases on freeze,
Okay,
on count of no selling or nothing. In other words, trucks that's turned in, they ain't selling no trucks, so.
yeah,
As of now, he said everything was on freeze, so.
okay. Well, let us know when they change that so we can
Okay.
talk
I
about
do.
it again,
I do.
for budget purposes. Thank you.
Thank you, Al.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Howard. Keep up the good work. Next on the agenda be Solid Waste Director, Mr. Fonda Davis.
Good morning, Commissioners. No action item. What I would like to let you all know is that the ball fields, you all probably got some concerns about them. What we're waiting to see if it's gonna be soccer, because we do have to use the ball field, baseball fields I'm talking about, for soccer also. So we normally let them grass over this time of the year, where the soccer could be played on them, used as soccer fields. I'm waiting on Miss Betty Sasnet to get back with me, let me know if it's gonna be in the soccer this year. If not, then we would till the fields up and be ready for baseball.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Anybody got anything else for Mr. Davis? Keep up the good work.
All right, thank you all.
Appreciate it.
Next on the agenda be the Emergency Management Director, Ms. Pam Bonnell.
Good morning, Commissioners. I have one action item that wasn't on your report. This came in after we had already did our board report. Asking the board's approval for the chairman to sign our extension for our non-congregate sheltering that we have to turn into FEMA, and that comes due every 30 days. I'd also like for the board to approve to just let the chairman go ahead as this comes up, sign those, and then we can, the next board meeting, we can go back and retroact it.
So if I may, Mr. Chairman, the good thing about that, and Commissioner Parrish kind of led me down the path last week, instead of, number one, you'll be able to sign it every month like you do the state of emergency every week. And basically, we could just tag it on as an information item, so it's part of the record. I really shouldn't be coming back and asking the board to approve something they already authorized you to sign. But
Right.
we'll just put it as information item, so that it'll be in the board record.
Okay, I got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Massey,
Second.
second by Commissioner Jones. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That passed unanimous.
That's it for me. We'll be watching that second storm. It looks like it might be something we might have to look out for next week.
Next week,
Yeah. If we can get him to sign that.
okay, keep us posted on that.
Gotta get it going.
And, we voted then.
Yep.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda will be the Extension Office Director, Mr. Eric Lovestring.
Eric Lovestrand, County Extension Director. Good morning, Commissioners. I didn't have any action items, but I did want to mention that the report that you got in your packet for this week was actually the same report that you got the meeting before. I mistakenly copy-pasted that one in when I sent it to Courtney, so you have a hard copy of that this morning before you. Probably have brought copies, so you would have a chance to look at that.
Thank you. Anybody got any? Keep up the good work.
Thank you. Mr.
Thank you.
Harris.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda will be the Board of Adjustment, Ms. Amy Ham Kelly.
Mike went together.
Okay.
Chairman, you want me, I can do my eyes.
Go ahead. Come on. we get it on that.
Actually, the report that I sent has only one, but I have two additional brief ones I will bring up.
We're gonna, next on the agenda, we're gonna do Mr. Allen Pierce with,
And my items are on page 5 of your report, under item N. First item of information that I've informed the FEMA that the public comment period for supplemental environmental assessment known as SEA on the repairs at Alligator Drive closed on August 10th. There was a 30-day application, or 30-day window for comment, so it closed August 10th. The county received no public comment. The project will now move into the funding queue. Because the project is more than $1 million, the project has to receive approval from a standing congressional budget committee, which has an acronym, but I don't remember what it is. As I understand it, this is a required step, but no one's going to tell me how long it takes to get through that committee. And at this time, Anderson Columbia is still standing by with their original cost estimate, which is now over a year old, or almost a year old. So as soon as we get through the funding queue, you know, we hopefully Columbia will honor its initial bid that we opened in September of last year, and we can begin rebuilding the road. Because the funding queue is the last queue, as far as I know. Great. So that's the item on that. The other two items that I failed to put on the report is a Triumph update. I did talk to Susan Skelton yesterday. She's the executive director of Triumph. And it's really for Mr. Schuer's edification as well as mine, is that they seem fairly happy that Mr. Schuer, you and the Triumph attorney were working things out. I don't know, that may be a surprise to you, but so anyway, we hopefully will, within a week or so, by the next board meeting, we will have an agreement with Triumph for our $1 million project at the airport. They basically have, Mr. Schuer have stepped back and are agreeing to do a 1-to-1 match with the project we already have under construction, which is something we had talked about. Initially, Triumph wanted to have us guarantee a number of FDOT projects that are in the 5-year work plan. They're in the 5-year work plan, but, you know, FDOT changes those from time to time, and so we were trying to assure Triumph that we will continue to put money, public money, into the airport so that they aren't the only money, and I think they've sort of got over that now, but we'll find out. We can talk outside the meeting.
Okay.
Because it's kind of a sensitive subject.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, so they are back on focusing on us. They skipped us for a couple weeks, now they're back on us.
Good, good.
And the last thing is a DEO update. As the board may be aware, the not the last legislative session, but the one before that, our state senator managed to get $750,000 of DEO money allocated to Franklin County as matching for various hurricane projects. In the contract, I knew at the time Alligator Point was going to be a project, so we set in the DEO agreement $600,000 as a match for the repairs to Alligator Drive. That left another $150,000 as unallocated. I have informed Beth Frost of DEO that I think we need $100,000 of that for C30A as a match. So there will be an amendment to that contract coming down. That leaves $50,000 unallocated. And so at this time, Ms. Frost says, well, let's just put it on the Alligator Point project because we don't really know what the costs there are. That's a possibility, but I just want to let you know we're going to have at least one amendment coming down to set aside $100,000 as match for C30A, which is the estimated match I got out of the engineers. And then, you know, there may be a third amendment if we find another project that is going to get funded by FEMA.
Mr. Chairman,
go ahead.
what about Island View Park over there?
Well, Island View Park is one of those mitigation projects that Pam listed in her report, and mitigations are part of the reason that Alligator Point is taking so long to get done. When you do a mitigation project, then you have to go and do a cost-benefit analysis, and it just bogs down. But Island View would be a project also. In fact, I mentioned that in my email this morning to Ms. Frost, that there's a third project and potentially Island View.
Right.
But I'll be honest with you, I don't know when Island View is ever going to come online. I mean, it could be
I don't need it, but I know there's gonna be a match to it.
yes, yes,
You know, so I'm saying
yeah. So,
that's another big project that's
Right.
gotta get done at some point.
Right.
That we might wanna use.
well, I will tell you that one of the challenges in Island View is that we recognize, and I say we, even the state of Florida, because I had a conversation with DEP, who really funded this thing, was that some of the design needs to be reconsidered, and the main components that have to be reconsidered, which are going to lower the cost substantially, is the parking lot. Rather than have brick pavers down there, just put some asphalt down and get away with all that handcrafted brick paving stuff. And then the ramps that were built as poured concrete that were all undermined and collapsed, we're going to go back with pile supported ramps, just like a regular boardwalk. So if the water comes under the area, it won't collapse concrete. You'll just have a regular old dock. And both those are gonna reduce the cost of rebuilding significantly. The third thing is, we are not gonna replant the kind of landscaping that was in there. That was several $100,000s of landscaping that got washed away in one wipe. And we're gonna go back with a much more simplified landscaping. So, Commissioner, I can't tell you what the cost will be, but it will be less than what the construction costs were.
Well, I mean, I just brought that up
Yeah.
because that's another major
Yes,
project.
that's
gotta be
correct.
done, and we're gonna have money for the match.
Yeah, and I've asked Beth about that. I mean, I'll be honest with you, she's a little bit eager to get all the money tied up. We've been sitting now for almost 2 years without having spent any, and so the Second Amendment, I think she's gonna say, no, let's just allocate it to C-30 and Alligator Point, and if there's money left over, we will then see how long it takes to get to that money. I mean, at some point, DEO is gonna want us to do something.
Right. Talking with the, Mr. Chairman, talking with the engineer, I think it's gonna be around October when we start C-30, so we got a few more months.
Yes.
They got some things to do, gotta do some surveying and different things, but
Yeah.
hopefully around October, that project will begin.
You know, the DEO agreement has an expiration date of June 2021.
Okay.
So we're okay I hope we're okay for Alligator Point and C-30. The question is, with Island View, I don't know, I just don't know when the timeline for that is.
Do you think it would be helpful, timeline-wise, to consider money applied to rebuilding the boardwalks after they're properly surveyed there at Alligator Point beach access? Is that advanced enough? And then my second question would be the dune restoration project. Do you think those two?
Well, the dune
projects
restoration
are-
project has its own funding source. There is no match to that.
No need.
That's gonna be our
Okay.
restore money, so
All right.
that takes that off the table. And I'll be honest with you, Commissioner, the Alligator Point, the dune walkovers, we can talk, I don't know where they stand with the FEMA stuff. I just don't know what's going on there. And the match isn't that great because the cost of those projects isn't that great. I'd rather reserve it for a big chunk like Island View because there's going to be
Okay,
it easily be a $50,000 match, yeah.
okay,
And that's my report.
good, thank
That's
you.
it.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work.
Well, I will only keep up the good work if I can do it from North Carolina.
I'll blame you. I got you on that. Chapel Hill.
Is it-
Okay, next on the agenda.
If I may, could the clerk go ahead and do hers?
Yes.
And I'll follow her. And let me explain it, as the clerk approaches the podium, we have to wait unfortunately, we have to wait until 10 o'clock before we can do Board of Adjustments and P and Z, because those times were advertised.
Okay.
Okay? So, the clerk, I'll do mine, I guess the attorney could do his, and then we'll take a break up until 10 o'clock, okay?
Okay.
Then we'll be out not too long after that.
Next on the agenda will be Ms. Marcia Johnson, Clerk of the Court.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
I have some more county held tax deed certificates that we need to have action on. And pursuant to Florida statutes, I'm tasked to notify you when there were no bidders on county held certificates that went to public tax deed sales. The list attached is the fourth batch of county held tax certificates that have been advertised for sales. Sales were held on July 13th and August 10th, and nobody showed up and bid on them. These properties are available should the county wish to purchase them, or you can waive your rights to purchase them at this time, and they will be placed on a list of lands available for sale. If not purchased, they will estreat to the county after 3 years. I've attached the list plus a copy of the forms on each for the chairman to sign on whether you elect to purchase or not. These properties are within the same area as the properties I presented to you on April 9th that you elected not to purchase. So action would be a motion to either elect to purchase or elect not to purchase these properties at this time.
Pleasure of the board.
Not to purchase them?
Second.
Got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Master not to purchase, second by Commissioner Jones not to purchase. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That passed unanimous.
Okay, thank you. Second, for information and a reminder, our first budget public hearing is scheduled for 5:15 p.m. on Tuesday, September 8th. And then also a reminder that our Value Adjustment Board organizational meeting is today at 1:30. Is that in here, Lori?
Yes.
Okay.
We'll be using, sorry, Commissioner, we'll be using Zoom for that Value Adjustment Board meeting, okay?
And Lori, could you give them the forms to sign on the tax deed sales? And that's all I have unless someone has a question for me.
Anybody got anything from Ms. Johnson. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Ms. Marshall.
Thank you. I guess next on the agenda will be Mr. Michael Maroon.
All right, Commissioners, how you doing this morning? I'll try to squint to look up there and look here. All right, so my report starts on page 5, Commissioners, and let's see, okay, so under, so let's start off item number 1, the St. George Island bathroom. At your August 4th meeting, bids for the construction of the St. George Island restroom design were opened and read aloud. Of the 3 bids received and opened, Storm Construction, LLC, was the lowest at $450,000. Upon Dewberry's review of the bids, there were a couple of required items that were not included in their bid package. The first was evidence of the authority to do business in the state of Florida, which was resolved by looking them up on sunbiz.org for their active status. Keep in mind, Commissioners, this is the same company had just a couple weeks ago got the bid to do the road department building, and they had gone through the same procedure before, so we knew that they were able to do business in the county. The other was a list of their subcontractors, which was provided to the county within a couple of days. It's attached to your agenda packet. The list of subcontractor requirement is a holdover requirement from FDOT bids and advertisements that probably should not have been included in this project. Advertisement and project paperwork. Since these are technical deficiencies and do not affect the price, time, change to the work, or quality of the work, it's within the board's authority, as stated in the advertisement, to waive these informalities.
I'll make a motion to give it to them.
Second.
Got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Masters, second by Commissioner Jones.
Mr. Chairman, just to qualify, that motion is to waive the informalities and award the bid to Storm Construction. Is that
Storm
correct,
Construction.
Commissioner Massey?
Yes, sir.
Do you amend your motion? Do you so amend your motion?
You have to give it, yeah.
Amend the
Amend
second?
my second, yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Okay, so got that
All
taken.
in favor?
Oh,
Aye.
All opposed? That passed unanimous.
Item number 2, CARES Act. At your August 4th meeting, Commissioner Parrish stated that he wanted the board to be more involved, earlier in the CARES Act spending plan creation process. In front of you is a comprehensive package from your CARES Act consultant, Mrs. Tracy Busby, that includes funding requests and the required forms from county departments, constitutional offices, county partners, and local businesses. These requests have not been vetted or approved as yet. Ms. Busby will be on the September 1st meeting agenda to review the package with the board, and at the end of that presentation, would like direction on matters like setting maximum requests for each group. By group, I mean, how much are you going to allow your constitutional officers to get? How much are you going to allow different county departments to get, et cetera, and businesses? Now, as I stated at the last meeting, Ms. Busby has requested and received a $3,500 quote from Opportunity Florida to review all business applications. Is the board willing to proceed with this agreement today so that there's a head start on business application reviews prior to your September 1st meeting? So, she's your consultant, and I agree with Ms. Busby. What we need is an independent third party looking at all the business applications that are presented. That is the most stickiest of all, because we have to figure out, did they receive any other payroll funds? Have they gotten any money from any other pots? And I've also heard, and I haven't discussed this with Tracy yet, because I was on a call yesterday, I've gotten a couple of emails. A lot of the smaller businesses are complaining that the application is just too much, you know? So maybe Opportunity Florida, because that's what they do, basically, they can work with Ms. Busby and work with the business community. And they don't have to come down, we can do it through Zoom meetings, we'll host them here, and, you know, et cetera. And maybe make the application less complicated, if I could use that word, basically, and help the businesses through the process of getting some of this funds, once you guys set a maximum amount in that category. So hopefully we can get Opportunity Florida playing a dual role here for the county, and they do this in other counties. They work with other counties.
Mr. Chairman, I want to say something. So, yeah, I think it will be advantageous for us as a board, because there's got to be a way that businesses can check a simpler list that they've received funds from something else or not, and then worry about getting into a, the actual process of getting money through CARES Act. You know what I'm saying? Almost like a preliminary checklist. And I think using Opportunity Florida as a third party to review is the right thing to do, and I make a motion to do that.
Second.
I got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Jones, second by Commissioner Master. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That passes unanimously.
So that I'm clear, we're not trying to add another layer of government to this. What we're trying to do is get a partner that can really help narrow and make the process a lot easier for everyone. Well, for the business community, let me not say everyone. I think amongst us, we can handle the board, we can handle the different county offices, et cetera. All right, let's move on to item number 3. At your last meeting, Ms. Lori Schweitzer Mills, your ship administrator, explained that some of the 8 Hurricane Housing Recovery Program, also known as HHRP homes, recipients required new septic systems, and total cost for the installation for some of the home recipients could exceed the county's $10,000 bid policy maximum amount. Ms. Schweitzer Mills forwarded 3 estimates, which is also included in the agenda packet, for home recipient septic installations that will exceed the county's $10,000 bid policy. The board will need to waive the county's bid policy to allow the installation of these septic systems. As the board is aware, Ms. Schweitzer Mills requested quotes for septic installation from 4 contractors, and only Collins responded. So Attorney Schulite, that sentence is more for you, to help you guide something as to what can we say that will waive the $10,000 limit on our bid policy. The problem is, she tried for proposals, nobody responded. I don't see us going out for bids that we're gonna get a better result,
Well, my factual understanding is some of these trailers that require the septic systems are actually ordered and on site and sitting and waiting to be installed. So,
Maybe 1 or 2, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yes.
okay.
We
Well,
didn't, problem is, it's so odd, you had to get the trailer, order the trailer before they would work on the permit for the septic tank. I don't understand that, but that's for a different time and different discussion.
Yes, we've had that conversation about the chicken and the egg.
Yeah,
It
basically.
did not make much sense to me either.
Yeah.
This should have been something that seemed like should have been known before
Prior.
moving forward,
Yes, sir.
not after you've already spent, $80,000 on a trailer that's now sitting on site, so.
Yeah, a lot less than that, except for 1, but I'll get to that in my next paragraph here.
So under these circumstances, I think the closest exception that you have would be to declare a state of emergency as to getting these $80,000 structures installed that are already been purchased and paid for, and my understanding delivered. At least some of them, you're indicating maybe one has not been delivered, but they're all under contract and they've all been paid for. So I think we're stuck.
I'll make a motion based on the attorney's comments that we declare an emergency and waive the bid policy up to the amount that Lori has in here, which is probably 11,000 instead of 10.
That's the most expensive one, yes, sir.
That'd be my motion.
Second.
I got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Parrish, second by Commissioner Jones. Any more discussion on this? How much over you say it is, Mike?
The most expensive one of the 3 is 1,000, it's 11,000 something, Commissioner. Actually, I have them over here, I'll pull them.
It's like $1,000-something over our normal bid policy.
Yeah.
Well, they gonna do that when messing with the government, you know that. Okay, y'all ready to vote, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That pass unanimous.
All right, so the second part of that is, thank you, sir, gentlemen. In addition, the HHRP program recipient at 27 Bayview in Apalachicola, total project cost has exceeded the $75,000 maximum set by the county by $4,431.40. The need for an exposure D, that's the only one where we need an exposure D unit, which is due to the windstorm requirements, and a new septic system, as we just discussed, are the reasons for the additional costs. The board will need to waive the $75,000 maximum cap for this HHRP project and authorize the $79,431.40 total cost of this project. Now, this isn't a bid situation. This was a cap self-imposed by this Board of County Commissioners for the HHRP program. So,
Mr. Chairman? Some of these other trailers cost $75,000, and as you just heard, we waived the bid policy on these new septic systems, which is in addition to, right?
Yep.
Yes, but most of the trailers cost like 60,000. They're basically, if you remember, Lori was able to negotiate down even lower than what the company had originally bid. And she was able to get a better price on them. So this is the only one that goes over the $75,000.
And that's because of its exposure D, because of
Yes.
the wind requirements, and it's gotta have a new septic system. Based on all that, I'm gonna make a motion to approve.
Yes.
Second.
Got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Parrish, second by Commissioner Master and Jones. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That passed unanimous.
Item number 4, Commissioners. Recently, the board authorized Robertson Roberts to pave Bayshore Drive on St. George Island, Plum Street and Creamer Street in East Point, and 19th, 20th, and 21st Streets in Apalachicola. Robertson Roberts completed this project for $10,000 less than originally proposed. Striping for those county streets were not included in the proposals. Robertson Roberts is working on a change order that will decrease the project by the net amount of $6,250. So basically, it's $10,000 less, and we add back in the $3,750 for the total striping cost. And I just need the board to authorize the chairman's signature on that $6,250 change order, which will also be authorizing the striping for the county streets stated above.
So moved. Second.
Got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Jones, second by Commissioner Master. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That passed unanimous.
Item 5, Emergency Ordinance 2020-15, which temporarily suspended meetings of the Planning and Zoning Commission and the Board of Adjustment, and authorize the Franklin County Planner to exercise the powers and duties of the Planning and Zoning Commission and the Board of Adjustment sunsets today, August 18th at 12:01 p.m. With that in mind, I asked Ms. Amy Ham Kelly, your zoning administrator, to contact members of both boards to receive input on what their recommendations are in moving forward. There are some members that prefer the county planner continues to review the application. They don't want to be part of it right now. They thought they would have to come in here to do that. And you have one from each board that wants us to go back to the format prior to COVID-19, basically letting people back inside this room like nothing is happening. I don't see that happening right now, commissioners. But a majority of the members are willing to participate if we do the meetings virtually using Zoom or a similar format. I recommend that the board extends the emergency ordinance until your October 6th meeting, which will allow the planner to do one more P&Z and 2 more Board of Adjustment meetings, and allow us time, us meeting the board, to discuss this matter in more detail and agree to a format to proceed with.
So moved.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
If I may, there's a certain format for the adoption of emergency ordinances, and the motion would need to include a finding that the immediate enactment of this ordinance is necessary, that there is a declared state of emergency, and that it is necessary by a 4/5 vote of the board that you waive the usual notice requirements otherwise required by Chapter 125, which is a 10-day notice in the newspaper. So that would need to be the form of the motion.
Okay, you got that?
I do, so I'll amend my motion to reflect the attorney's comments.
Okay. I got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Jones,
Second.
second by Commissioner Master. And both will be under the same orders as Lawyer Sheila told us. Be under that word. Discussion. Y'all, I got some discussion on this. I was planning, he's doing a whole lot of extra work on this. The man, plus his own work. And it's taking up a lot of his time. He got to spend extra time doing his work because of this. We pay the man for planning. So what we're gonna do about paying what he got, that's not in his job description and everything, so we should be supposed to be paying him something for this. something, if his work go lacking, what happens? And a lot of his work have deadlines and everything else. A lot of these people want deadlines at the same time. What the man supposed to do? Sit down on his time and just don't get paid? That ain't right. You got, we need to compensate him on something. But I wanna vote on this and then I'm gonna see can we get him some kind of conversation. Y'all ready to vote? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That passed unanimously.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
Perhaps your thought can be retroactively applied at our next meeting in September 1st, when we have the, the county clerk here, county assistant financial clerk, to look at those numbers, and perhaps reserve our thought that we can go back retroactively for some addressing of this point.
But that'd be good, long with, long as the man get, cause he doing a lot of work.
Oh, I can tell.
And he doing both. But we get, some of them deadlines, if we got a main project
Yeah.
and it's planning, and then somebody come up with, they want their stuff done,
Right, yeah.
and both of these on the same time.
Sure.
It ain't for the 8 hours in the workday.
And informally, can we tell our county planner this discussion just now, just so he knows?
I will. I'll
Good.
discuss it with him. I'll discuss it with Ms.
Okay,
Griffith also.
great. Thank you.
And yeah, I will say to you, I sit next to him. The hardest thing is when you're focused on something and then somebody calls him about one of the applications.
right.
He has to stop, to look at that application, answer their questions, then he tries to refocus on what he was doing.
Right,
And another
including
call
us
comes in
who
for different
call him.
application.
Yeah.
It just, yeah.
I agree.
I get what the chairman is saying. I really do.
I seen it, I've been back in there and I seen what he was going through. I said, okay,
Okay, so I'll add that,
but,
I'll add a compensation item to my report at the next meeting, sir.
Okay.
do we need a motion on that?
No, sir, I'll just go ahead and add that to my report,
Okay, just bring it up.
Yeah. making a note as we speak. All right. Item number 6, I think that's where we are. After the board agreed to the new plan option and rates for the county's dental and life insurance plans through the Centra Insurance at the budget workshop, Chairman Lockley signed the agent of record notification letter on August 11th. A copy of the letter is attached to the agenda packet, which I probably failed to do. I apologize. Board action to ratify the chairman's signature on the agent of record notification letter.
So moved.
I got a motion on the floor by 2. Commissioner Parrish, thank you.
I'll make mine second.
Second by Commissioner Jones. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That passed unanimously.
Item 7, and this is what Ms. Mostella called about earlier under public comments. So dormitory B at Bay City Work Camp was in poor condition, and a section of the roof which was damaged in Hurricane Michael has fallen in. Recently, it was discovered that someone had been camping in one of the other vacant dormitory buildings at the work camp location, and this building poses a significant safety and liability concern. This building shell is approximately 9,600 square feet. The other buildings at the locations are in better condition. This building is on the county insurance, and there's approximately $45,566 in insurance proceeds for this location that can be used for the demolition of the structure. The size of the building equates to annual insurance expense of about $5,204. And this structure is unusable. When it is demolished, Franklin County will be able to remove this building from coverage. To reduce the project cost, the board may consider waiving the tipping fees of the construction debris. In addition, would the concrete blocks have any value as riprap? And I understand what I understand what, under public comments, what Mr. Mostella was saying, commissioners, but number one, I don't think the money we have available, insurance will replace the roof. We will have to pull money out of ad valorem or one of our line item budgets. And even with that, the building is still in really bad shape.
Okay.
I just don't see it being worth saving, if that's the term. I mean, I just don't, and I apologize. I should have attached pictures for you to see how bad it actually is. But I'm sorry, I think it'll be, the money will go to a better use just to demolish and remove that building. We're not tearing down the entire complex, which
Mr. Dawn,
I have opinions about that too. But I will say that it's just this particular building that we're tearing down. That's it.
you tearing down one of the sleepers, the dome?
Yes.
Okay.
The main, I think it's A campus. Pierce, you help me here. The A campus is the big one, the lettering. I'm trying to visualize, yeah, I've been in it so long.
B
It
is
is.
the smaller one.
Yeah, A is in better shape, I think, than most of the buildings out there. And of course, you know, we use the warehouse on the opposite end for storage, you know, for different items. So, and Pam has a very good plan that she's trying to get that building restored. Actually, I talked to Mike Case about power for that building. That's a whole separate thing. I'm sorry, Dome B is just not worth saving.
Well, let me ask you this. On the, you said something else and you got people camping. Did they get rid of the campers?
Yes, we did. We hope, well, we secured the building that they were in as best as we can.
Is we got any cameras out there?
No, we don't.
They've been
Commissioner Parrish is gonna look at me in a strange way right
They've been
now.
authorized, the board has already authorized putting cameras out there
Yeah.
about 3 years ago, but we don't have them yet.
Yeah,
We need to go, that would've stopped them campers.
okay.
We need.
And Mr.
don't
Chairman-
Take care of that. We ain't voted yet though. But,
Isn't this area also an area that the sheriff is considering using as a rehab facility?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
So all of that.
And I did speak to the sheriff. Thank you, sir. I did speak to the sheriff once the roof caved in, and I told him we probably won't do it, and he didn't have any heartburn about that one particular building.
Okay, he ain't said about, nothing about he gonna fix it.
No,
Cause we told him we ain't had no money.
yeah, no, sir, he did not.
Okay.
He
I just wanted
understood
to make sure.
that we're going to destroy that building.
I just wanted to make sure so he know it
Yes.
Yep.
before we,
Yes.
go tear it down.
And there may be a slab left after that demolition's over for a future foundation. Would that be correct?
Could be.
Yeah.
Could
And then,
be, yeah.
and then we're saving almost $5,300 in insurance costs every year.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
okay, y'all ready to vote? Yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That passed unanimous. But in the meantime,
Do we have a motion?
We,
I-
Yeah.
I'll make a motion that we
Second.
proceed with staff recommendation.
we did have,
I thought we had a motion.
She didn't have it.
Okay.
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 Yeah, cause you made the motion. It don't matter. We got one now. We'll do it over. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Or do I need to do the whole thing over?
You did fine.
All right.
You're fine.
He was asking if we have to do it all over again. I think you got a motion in a second.
Yeah.
We do?
Yep.
Okay.
Spoken in.
Okay, now, let's try to get them cameras out there, cause we can, I mean, if somebody get hurt, it's gonna cost us money, even though it could cost us, you know, I don't know.
Good.
They don't need to having a problem when we can see who face it is and take care of business.
Is there, Mr. Chairman, is there signage on the fence or something where you come in there that no?
Private property, no trespassing?
Well,
I'll have to go and look, Commissioner. I really can't answer that question right now, to be honest with you. At one point there were, and then if you remember, as Ted was talking about, Mr. Marcello was talking about earlier, that the sheriff had it, and then the church was using it during Hurricane Michael, and they had a fence further out, so I don't know if they removed whatever signage was there, so I have to drive out there. I'll ask Shane to go out there and double check. We'll put up the signs immediately, and then we'll work on the cameras ASAP.
needs to be something like unauthorized personnel prohibit, or,
Yeah,
Yeah,
prohibited,
okay.
something like that.
I remember when we had voted for them cameras. That's when they was getting all that copper, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the problem with that, I went through a couple of vendors and it didn't work out and I let it go astray, in all honesty. Yeah, so
Okay,
that's what happened.
next, go ahead.
That's it, okay. My final item, as you may have seen in the news, the Department of Business and Professional Regulation Secretary Sahazi Bashirs has been visiting bars and breweries owners throughout the state to discuss a safe reopening plan for their establishments. Since March 26, only establishments that sell food along with alcohol have been allowed to operate in the state. Therefore, all other bars and breweries have been closed. In order to support the local bar and breweries, is the board willing to send a letter of support to Secretary Bashirs stating that Franklin County supports a safe reopening plan for bars and breweries that do not sell food?
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
I'd like to speak on this subject. You know, I've heard from quite a few different people as far as, and bar owners. And if you look at it, this is not Club La Vila that we're talking about.
No.
This is not thousands of people with 7 different stages inside a building. We're talking about, well, you take Orchard City Brewing down here. If it was wide open, it won't hold 15 people. I mean, you know, and these people are drying up, withering on the vine, and they've contacted me saying, well, y'all gave the vacation rentals a letter of support, which we did, and it opened up and allowed these people not to die on the vine. And of course, our COVID numbers went up, but we still gave a letter of support in support of those businesses open up. And these little bars that we have here in Apalachicola, there's 3. None of them sell liquor. All they sell is beer and wine. That's it. And there's one place in East Point that does sell liquor, but none of these places hold many people at all. And the ones I've talked to is willing to do half capacity, which would be around 50 people is the maximum occupancy inside of those places. I think we need to send a letter of support and stipulating, Michael, that the ones I've talked to is willing to do half capacity, which is around 50 people. If you don't want to go, don't go. That's fine. But the same people that would go is the same people that we've allowed to come here when we opened up vacation rentals. They're not going to come from Georgia just to come down here and have a beer. That ain't happening. The only people that's going to go to these things is the people that we've already allowed to come into the county. So it doesn't make no sense for these people to lose their livelihoods and lose their business when there's no one coming to them except for the same people that we've already allowed to come into the county. So, you know, I'd like to make a motion that we send a letter to Halsey Bashirs in support of that with those stipulations, Michael.
Yes, sir.
And reiterate that we're not Club La Vila. We don't hold, our little bars don't hold thousands of people, and they're willing not to even have 100. They're willing to do 50. I mean, I think it's the right thing to do, and I'm going to put that in form of a motion.
We got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Parrish, second by Commissioner Jones. Any more discussion on that?
Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to say this is good common sense and good moderation, and I think it allows us a controlled reopening plan and helping these people.
Yeah, it is, because all it's doing is Bashirs and all, and that state up there, they keep me off with this, pushing it down on us like we the problem.
Yeah.
All you got to do is tell them people what he open up, close it. That's his job.
Yeah.
But he going around the long bush, so we look like the bad guys. But that's all that is.
And there appears to be a couple of facilities in Carabel that are under the same circumstances here
Yeah.
too. So.
I mean, you know, do what he supposed to do. Open up, close. That's what you do. All right. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That passes now.
Commissioner Dynamite report.
Y'all want to take a break? By that time.
You want to ask Mr. Shuley if you had anything else?
Mr. Chairman, I just have one item. I was requesting
Go
for
ahead.
myself and Mr.
Next on the
Theriak.
agenda will be, Michael Shuley.
Myself and David Theriak, your outside counsel, need to have an executive session with the board to discuss the pending litigation with the HLS Properties Group. We need advice from the board. We're requesting this meeting to take place pursuant to 286.0118, and we would like for the meeting to occur on September the 1st at 1:30. But the attorneys do require your advice, and present at that meeting would be the county commissioners, myself, Mr. Theriak, and Mr. Morone as your chief administrative officer for the county. That's the request.
Pleasure to vote.
So moved.
Got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Jones,
Second.
second by Commissioner Burt. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That passed unanimous.
That's the only action item I had, Mr. Chairman.
Keep up the good work, Mr. Schuler.
Thank you,
Mr.
sir.
Chairman, I got a question for Attorney Schuler, if I may.
Go ahead.
Attorney Schuler, I believe it was the beginning of June. I don't remember if it was a motion or if it was just a direction thing, but I'd asked about us making a formal statement on masks. Did you ever get anything together for that? I know it's off the cuff right now, but
I have prepared and did prepare, ready for the last meeting, a proposed emergency mask ordinance for the board's consideration. I had understood that there was going to be an alternate path. We're partnering with the TDC in a publicity campaign to try and educate the public. So that is the reason I have not brought that ordinance up for consideration, but it has been drafted. It is here with me today if the board wanted to take that up as an emergency matter, either before or after the break. It's essentially modeled on the ordinance from Leon County. It's adopted as an ordinance as opposed to an executive order, which you're allowed to adopt during these declared states of emergency. And the reason for the ordinance proposal as opposed to the emergency order is the penalty for the violation of the emergency order is a criminal second-degree offense. And in the ordinance, it is a monetary penalty that's been proposed. And there are certain exceptions, of course, for people with health conditions that would not have to wear the mask. Children under the age of, I think, 6 or under would not have to wear the mask. There's certain business establishments. I mean, we can go through all the details of the ordinance if you like, Commissioner. But my understanding, again, is I thought we were going down a different path of trying to educate the public to voluntarily comply and see what the numbers, local COVID numbers did, and then decide on the ordinance from that point forward. But I'm ready to proceed if the board is.
And the what you're discussing also wasn't in place back in June. You know what I mean?
That is correct.
So, yeah, I'm not trying to force the board into a decision that I think that would be bad policy.
Yes.
I'm just trying to follow up on the discussion from.
Yes, oh, absolutely. I understood, and I hope I didn't make it seem like I took it some other way, but we're ready to go. I know the public has a wide range of decisions on whether to require masks or not require masks, but I think that was the reason for the fallback position of having the educational program to see how that went, and then the board would make a decision thereafter.
Okay.
Yeah, and if I may.
That door got to be open behind the sunshine law, ain't it, Mr. Schuler?
No, I was going to explain to you, Mr. Chairman, that since we use the call-in and the CMT technology, you don't allow people in the room right now because of the COVID, no, you do not have to leave the door open at the time.
You know, okay.
That's my understanding.
That gonna clear us on the sunshine?
No, that's just my understanding, because they're seeing us live stream and they can talk to us through the phone conference system. And if I may, I'm sorry, getting back to the campaign that Attorney Schuler was referring to, I'm going to have at your September 1st meeting, not to delay this matter, but at September 1st meeting, someone to explain the Pledge to Protect, which is being done in Flagler County, which they use that matter for educating the public and trying to get a buy-in from the public on wearing face masks, with dealing all the businesses as this campaign, so that you could compare the two, and this board can make a decision of what direction they want to go in. Because I'll say this to the board, the ordinance is fine. The problem is, does the sheriff have enough people to mandate it? Or to enforce it? Let me put it that way, not to mandate it, to enforce it. That's the line we have to walk, and that's why other counties are doing campaigns similar to Pledge to Protect instead of a mandate, trying to make a more voluntary buy-in from everybody and find another way to have everyone wearing masks when they go into businesses. Because really and truly, that's where you want them wearing the mask, when they go into the businesses, So, I mean, but I really would like the board to be able to see both and see maybe there's a hybrid version, it's either or, but I think the board needs more information on both items, boards passed, to use Attorney Schuler's term, before a final decision is made. And I plan to have that ready for you guys on 9/1.
What we do about on version, but I know them numbers jumping up higher and higher. Y'all wanna take 5 before we get to Ms. Amy? You got to set up, Ms. Amy?
No, 5 minutes will help. We can't start before 10 o'clock, so.
Let's take 5. Board of County Commissioners going back in session. Next on the agenda will be Ms. Amy Kelly.
Good morning.
Good morning, Ms. Amy.
This morning, we'll start off with the Board of Adjustment applications. This morning, we have an application, the consideration of a request to construct an addition 15 feet into the front setback off of St. Teresa Avenue. Property described as lots 3 and 4, Block A, Cochran Beach, Unit 1, 4198 St. Teresa Avenue, St. Teresa, Franklin County, Florida. Request submitted by Charles and Leslie Redding. They're the applicants. Mark Currington, when he did his staff recommendation, recommends approving this variance. We did receive some letters in support from 3 different neighbors. Right now, it's a 40-foot wide easement through there. And the only thing in there is the power line transmission, and there's nothing in there that would hinder. The road's probably never going to be constructed. It's never been paved or constructed.
Pleasure of the board.
Motion to approve?
Second.
I got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Burt, second by Commissioner Math. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That passed unanimous.
Okay. The second item we have is a consideration of a request to construct a house 19 feet into the setback off of Castoldi Street, 6 feet into the west side setback, and 15 foot into the setback off of Carabel Beach Drive. Property located or described as lots 5 and 6, Block B, Range 2, McKissick Beach, Carabel, Franklin County, Florida. Request submitted by Greg Winters. This property is 2 lots. It's 100 foot by 100 foot, and has roads on 3 different sides. The site plan with the application shows the proposed house being 8 feet from the west interior property line, 8 feet from Castoldi Street property line, and 10 feet from Carabel Beach Drive. The survey shows that the wood deck on the house to the west is located less than a foot from the property line. The house, as designed, is approximately 84 foot long and 36 feet deep. When the stairs are added, the structure is almost 58 feet deep. The house could be set back further from Carabel Beach Drive without impacting the setback from Spacey Drive. The recommendation was approving this variance request, provided that the house be moved 17 feet from Carabel Beach Drive.
Pleasure of the board.
I'm not for this. It's right up against the man's house. The man on the side of it ain't but 3.5, 4 foot right beside his house. He gotta do something different.
Yes, sir. Now, do we need to unmute Mr. Winters?
Well, I'm basically unmuting everyone right now, and anyone that have public comments on this. Attorney Schuler said we need to go ahead. This one, or the one we already made the motion on, unfortunately. We need to accept any public comments we have since there is a variance request. So everyone is unmuted. At the moment, unfortunately, I don't know who has, who would like to speak. So if you state your name, and I'll be able to try and take one caller at a time. Does anyone have any comments on either this variance request we're talking about now, or the one that we approved a few minutes, right before this?
Yes, this is correct. This is Chuck Mansfield.
Yes, sir? It's Mr. Mansfield?
Yes, I have the house on Carabel Beach Drive with the variance request from Greg Winters for his property to build a home 4 feet from my house, and I strongly say no to that request.
Which one is this, Amy?
This is for the Winters, item 2. Or
Item H, the one we're on now? Okay, just want to make sure.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, yeah, this is Greg Winter. What the request we want is 10 feet from Mr. Mansfield's property, even though his deck is 10 inches from my property line. 25 feet from Carabel Beach Drive, 25 feet from Spacey Drive, but just want a 10-foot setback from Castoldi Drive since it's a non-used dirt road.
Mr. Chairman?
Go ahead.
I have a comment.
Hello, this is Lou Osman. I own the property across the street from the Mansfield property. My lot is 50 by 100. I do not want any variances allowed because if I go to build and someone has already built on the vacant lot to my east, I'm going to have a 15-foot wide house. So I just do not think the variance should be approved.
I'm not understanding, Lou, how that affects your house.
If you allow a variance, then there can be a variance
Okay.
allowed on the property next door to me when someone decides to build there.
Okay, everyone on the phones, hold on for 1 second here. Let me get Chairman Parrish. He has some comments. I'm going to mute everybody, and we'll come back to everyone one by one. We can take one call at a time. So, all right, so go ahead.
All
sir.
participants are muted.
Go ahead, sir.
Michael, actually, the people that are calling in should address the board and not each other.
Yes.
Let's don't get back all
Yes.
forth. My question on variance, this might be a question for Attorney Schuler. If you apply for a variance, you ought to have some kind of hardship. You don't just get to build whatever you want to build and ask for a variance to build into the setbacks and everything else. Am I wrong in thinking that way? I always understood a variance was because you had a hardship, not you want to build a bigger house. You got property lines, you got setbacks, you got to design a house that fits within all that. You just can't build a bigger house and come in and ask for variance when there, you know, if you got an eroding piece of property, then we'll allow variances to allow you some use of your property, but is this a hardship case here? Or is it just he wants to build a bigger house and go into the setbacks? I mean, I need that answer.
The site plan shows that the house is, like Mark had put in here, it was 84 foot long. So it's 84 foot from east to west side property line.
So why does it have to be 84 foot long?
And that's the house he designed, and he's trying to fit it on.
I mean, but you gotta design something that fits on the lot that you have and abide by the setbacks unless you have a hardship. Attorney?
Well, Commissioner Parrish, that's correct. A hardship is one of the factors that the board considers in granting any variance. In this case, what I'm thinking off the top of my head here is the county's building code requires a minimum building footprint of 1,000 square feet of heated and cooled space. So how big is the heated and cooled space for this particular design?
Well, I don't know. We taking up part of his property with a pool. I mean, I don't understand if there's not a hardship why we're granting variances, which encroaches on other people's, the lots next to them's gotta apply by this stuff too. I mean, I understand if your lot's eroding or, you know, I understand all that, but I just don't see where there's a hardship in this case. But I don't know if that's a requirement, but that's the way I've always looked at it.
Hardship is absolutely one of the 5 or 6 different factors that the board considers in granting a variance. My recommendation to the board would be to table this matter, get more information, come back at a later meeting, and then provide that information to the board so you'll be able to answer the questions that Commissioner Parrish is asking, and I'm sure probably is on the minds of some of the other commissioners as well.
I need a motion.
I'll make a motion table to further notice.
Second.
I got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Master, table. Did we get more information? Did I get a second? Didn't I get a second?
I seconded.
Second by Commissioner Burt. Table till we get more information.
Okay, so I'm gonna tell the callers, I'll say this, because the callers can hear us, but I have them muted.
This on this particular one, now we done voted on another one, what we gonna do about it?
The other one's fine. No one wanted to speak on the first one, Commissioner. So you're good, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That pass unanimous.
So what I'm gonna say now is to Mr. Winters and the neighbors, what basically they need to do is, well, I guess our staff will get in touch with Mr. Winters, but the neighbors need to send in an email or call or explain to you, Amy, what their objections are, so we have it as part of the record.
Yes.
Okay? And then we could go forward from there. And,
in addition, what the necessity is for this particular layout, for this particular lot.
Yes.
How big this lot is?
The square footage, it's around about 3,000 square foot minus the decks and porches.
I'm talking about the lot is
Oh, no, the lot is 100 foot by 100 foot.
100 by 100?
Yes, sir.
Can we have more specific, detailed drawings than what we have here?
Yes, I will tell him he has to. Now, I put together this site plan. It's not the house, but it gives you the what was requested.
Yeah.
The yellow is the requested variance,
Mhm.
and the red is the actual footprint
Okay.
of the buildable area without a variance.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
I guess more to you or Mr. Shula. In between these houses, don't we supposed to have some kind of fire zone? So much
That's
space for fire?
That's why you have the setbacks,
Yeah.
That's what I know.
to allow that.
Yeah.
But when you take away the setbacks, you don't have it, and I understand the gentleman has designed his house, but you need to design a house that fits within the footprint of your lot and not encroach into these setbacks, front, side. Actually, let me look right here. Actually, he's asking for 3 different variances, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, you're not asking for 1 variance, you're asking for 3, both side setbacks and the front setback. You need to go back, I think he needs to go back and redesign his house where it fits with, and that's the reason these setbacks are there. They're not there just to be given a variance, because you wanna build a different size house that don't fit within those variants. If you're gonna do that, you might as well not even have setback. Just do away with the setbacks and let them build line to line. I mean, it don't, what we're doing here, or what we're being asked to do here, just doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
No.
I got setbacks where I live, and I'm sure everybody else in the county does.
Yeah.
I could have built a bigger house and went into the setbacks, but you're supposed to build within those. Those setbacks are to protect your neighbors, protect your right-of-way in the front of your house, and, I mean, that's what setbacks are for. It's not to be, just come ask for a variance. You need to redesign something that fits within that square footage of your lot.
He's right up against Mr. Manfield's house.
Well, I mean, that's the reason you have setbacks, to keep that from happening, Commissioner Massey.
Yes, sir.
That's what the setbacks are for.
I know it.
Keep
That's
you
what
from
they-
building, like the chairman just said, if you build right up to somebody's 4 foot, they can't, no firefighters get in there if the place is on fire. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but that's just the way I look at it, and that's my opinion. It's not the opinion of the board, it's my opinion.
If they got an acre lot behind, empty,
Sir,
if they got an empty lot behind,
an empty lot line?
by him, next to that?
No, this is an end lot. There's 2 lots. This is Spacey Drive, Castoldi, and this is Carabel Beach Drive. So he's surrounded by three roads.
Address this at the next meeting. That-
Yeah.
that's
Just
good?
tell him you can't put Tallahassee in Caribou.
And standard,
Of objections or phone calls opposing it. So they'll need to send that in, and then we'll talk to Mr. Winters as well.
Yes, ma'am.
I've talked to about every one of them out there.
Yes, sir. And nobody has called the office. I even checked all the messages this morning to make sure, and my
Well, I'm
emails.
their
and
commissioner, so
Yeah,
I'm speaking for them.
Yes, sir.
Let them know they got to put the,
You need the objections on record.
Yes.
on record, William, Commissioner Massey.
Yeah, they gonna call in, they'll,
Let 'em
Chuck
know
and
they
them will
got-
send you some stuff in.
Yes, sir.
But like Mr. Parrish said, if you start this, we're gonna have it everywhere in the county.
Yeah.
Where everybody's entitled to the same right.
Everybody titled the same thing. We turned, this ain't the first one we've turned down in this.
Yes, sir.
Okay, any more discussion? Next, next.
Okay. The third item is a consideration of a request to construct, let me get in here first. Is a consideration of a request to construct a house 15 feet into the front setback off of Alligator Drive, property described as 1237 Alligator Drive, Alligator Point Franklin County, Florida. Request submitted by Elva Peppers, Florida Environmental and Land Services, agent for Walter Kip Cook III, applicant. The proposed house on this property is seaward of the coastal construction control line, and DEP is requiring the house to be located closer to Alligator Drive. The county granted a variance on the same property in 2014 to construct a house 13 feet into the front setback, but the house was never constructed. The recommendation is to approve this request, and I'll show you a site plan.
I have Ms. Peppers on the line in case anyone has questions.
Mr. Chairman?
Go ahead.
Based on what's been submitted here, as you understand, the house is too close, is south of the coastal construction line. Now, we've done this several times. Again, that's a hardship.
Yeah.
You can't build seaward of the coastal construction line. We've done this on the island on several places. It's had to be moved closer and not meet the setbacks and move closer to the road to get away from the coastal construction line. That's what we're talking about here. That's a hardship. That's not nothing made by the person themselves, or the house don't meet the side setbacks and everything else. They just need to move into the front setback so they're in compliance with DEP and the coastal construction line, which don't allow construction south of that coastal construction line, which is closer to the Gulf of Mexico. So these people have a hardship. It's what we just got through talking about. And this has been done multiple times on St. George Island. Based on that, I'm gonna make a motion to approve.
I got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Parrish,
Second.
second by Commissioner Burt. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That passed unanimous.
Okay. The last Board of Adjustment item is a consideration of a request to construct a house 15 feet into the front setback line off of Highway 98. Property described as 2324 Highway 98 West, Carabel, Franklin County, Florida. Request submitted by Ronald and Daisy Leon, applicants. This parcel is located on the south side of US Highway 98 along St. George Sound. The configuration of the lots makes it impractical to build a reasonable house on the property without receiving a variance from some setback. If the variance is granted, the house will be 17.7 feet wide on the east end and 27 feet wide on the west end. The house will maintain the 50-foot setback from the mean high water. If the variance is granted, the house will be approximately 45 feet from the US Highway 98 pavement at the closest point. It appears that the septic system can be permitted on this property. The recommendation was to approve this variance, and I'll show you the file.
So this,
Go ahead.
so this meets all the side setbacks. It just has to be moved. The lot, I'm assuming that the lot is eroded some?
Yes, sir. This is the property here. They have a retaining wall. It's out of the 50-foot setback from the critical habitat zone, and I'll show you a site plan.
It's just west of Woodell Road.
Yes. It's kind of hard to see here, so I did highlight it in some colors so that it would kind of make a difference in how you see it. The red line is the requested variance 15 feet into the front setback, and then the side setback is not going to be a problem, and this side setback, and they're going to maintain the 50-foot setback.
So we're, Mr. Chairman, so we're meeting the side setback.
That's correct.
And we're protecting the critical habitat.
That's
by
correct.
allowing them to move forward.
That's correct.
And they've designed a house that will fit on that lot and protect those side setbacks and the critical habitat.
That's correct.
To the south side.
So moved.
I got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Master,
Second.
second by Commissioner Parrish. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That passed unanimous.
Okay, thank you. And I do have 2 items for the Board of, the Planning and Zoning as well.
Okay, next will be on the agenda be the planning and zoning.
Okay. This morning, we have a consideration of a request to construct a single-family private dock located at Lot 5, Bay Cove Village, 2031 Sand Dollar Trail, St. George Island, Franklin County, Florida. The applicant has all state and federal permits. The dock will be 431 foot long by 4 foot wide with a 2 by 6 terminal platform and a 10 by 20 boat lift. request submitted by Garlic Environmental Associates, agent for Steve Maxwell. This dock will extend into the Apalachicola Bay. The FDEP permit does not include the boat lift because they will not give a permit for a boat lift in approved shellfish harvesting waters unless restroom facilities are available. There is currently a house on this lot. Staff recommendation was to approve this application contingent upon receiving an FDEP permit for the boat lift. And,
So they're gonna use the bathroom on their bathroom.
yes, sir. That is a 20-foot by 6-foot terminal platform. That's an era.
That's a really long dock,
And I
over
will-
400 feet. That's amazing.
What they, Mr. Chairman, what they do is they make you build these docks long enough so that you're not prop dredging.
I
So
see.
it must be a really shallow area, because the state won't permit you just, if you
Good
want a
idea.
400-foot dock, you can't just build a 400-foot dock. But if that's what it takes, as she's showing
I
on the
see, to
screen.
get in deeper water.
You gotta be in deeper water so that you're not tearing up the seagrasses and other
Of
things.
course.
So normally when they get their state permit, they've looked at all that and made
didn't know
sure
that.
that they're in adequate water, depth of water, to not dredge up your seagrasses and everything else.
I got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Jones,
Second.
second by Commissioner Master. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That passed unanimous.
Okay, the next item, it came before the Board of County Commissioners in February, and the Planning and Zoning had made a recommendation. It's a consideration of a request to construct a single-family private dock located at Lot 8, Block 65, Unit 5, 709 Randolph Street, St. George Island, Franklin County, Florida. The dock walkway will be 15 foot by 5 foot and have a 60 foot by 10 foot parallel dock. The applicant has the DEP self-certification, request submitted by Lee Chapin, applicant. Proposed site plan, there is no house on the property, but they do have room for a house. This is an after-the-fact request, dock has already been constructed. P&Z recommendation in February was a motion to approve by Member Toronto, seconded by Member Wilkins, contingent upon applying for DEP exemption and applying for the federal permit. Applicant has both exemption and federal permit at this time.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Jones, second by Commissioner Master. Any more discussion on that?
One comment, Mr. Chairman, if I might. I'm seeing that this is after the fact permit.
Yes, sir.
Can you explain that to us?
He built it without a permit from DEP or Corps.
Or us?
Or us.
Okay.
He had called to get power pole to have power for his dock. And we told him, well, you don't even have a permit. You know, you haven't even been through the process to get a permit. So he did seek the permitting and planning and zoning. He came before planning and zoning in February, and he has provided the exemption and the Corps permit.
Is he within his riparian
Yes, yes,
lot
sir.
lines?
Yes, sir. He, he has, let me get to the dock. It's a 90-foot wide dock, 90-foot wide lot, and his dock is 60 feet. He did prepare a professional survey, and it shows the area. So in Section C, Construction Standards .9, either they have to provide 25-foot setbacks, showing the 25-foot setback from riparian lines, or they can provide a professional survey indicating that they have not expanded into those setbacks over those lines.
They don't have to have no bathroom on that?
No, they don't have a boat lift or anything.
And I think you just used the operative word, Amy, that they do have a survey to be sure that they put the dock where it's supposed to be and not anywhere else.
That's correct.
Okay.
All righty. Any more discussion? Well,
Okay, that
they
concludes.
don't, you know, sooner or later, we're gonna have to stop that from them gonna build their stuff first.
And per your request, I did send out a memorandum to all of our marine contractors
Yep.
to let them know that, you know, there are, you know, requirements with the DEP core and local requirements that they have to abide by. And that if they choose not to build in those locations, then they will have to pull them up, put them in, you know, in the right location, and they could, you know, be penalized through the Construction Industry Licensing Board.
There you go. There's another team effect of a code compliance officer potential, working with our building and planning department to assure these standards are met.
You right. Y'all ready to vote?
Yes, sir.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
And he will have to pay a double permit fee on this one.
Make
Okay,
it-
and that concludes my reports. Thank you.
That pass unanimous. Okay, that concludes. Keep up the good work, Ms. Amy.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Yes, ma'am. Commissioner comment. We down to that, right?
Just a brief moment, if I may. I just wanted to recognize here in Franklin County the term I would call election integrity. I have had the privilege and still have the privilege of serving on the canvassing board here for Franklin County alongside Judge Schuler. And I just want the public to know what a tremendous quality assurance review absentee ballots alone have had. Those election equipment, pieces of equipment, about 20 of them that go throughout the county, have all been sealed, triple sealed, and organized in a register that proves the sealing, and we're observing all of that. We come and unlock those election device machines, observing how that unlock is there. Everything is fully set up in integrity is what I'm saying. We open every absentee ballot by hand and examine them. And if there's any damage to an absentee ballot, it's carefully reviewed and looked at and recharged in the proper way that it should be done. I saw an example yesterday afternoon where one individual had potentially voted twice, and his ballot was brought into the room with a sealed bag, which was opened in front of 3 people. And we examined that voter's intention, along with the fact that he had also voted and didn't remember he had voted. And we took care of that professionally and in honor. And I think the election integrity system here in Franklin County is just excellent, and I wanted the public to know that. And you can come and see it too. There's room for you to come and sit in chairs and observe what's going on in that room and get that same sense of quality assurance that I got.
Any more commissioner comment? You right. When they come, they can take my place if I'm on it.
Yeah, it's a good deal.
Meeting adjourned.
Good luck, sir.